guys, welcome back to another edition of Raw Intuition Inside Scoop. Today we have yet another incredible guest for you. We are speaking with Shane Sterling from Raw Vegan Rising, one of the most inspiring guys out there today in the raw vegan community, speaking a lot of truth, sharing a lot of great tips and advice for people to take their health and their life to the next level. And so I'm excited to talk to Shane today about building muscle, about spiritual elevation, about raw foods in general, and just how that has changed his life and allowed him to start living his purpose and finding more happiness. So Shane, thank you so much for joining the channel. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks for a good intro. Appreciate it, brother. I'm so happy to talk to your audience and anyone who's interested in the topic of raw food, because it's been profound in my life, and I'm just happy to share any nuggets of wisdom that could help support someone or change someone's life. If we're stuck in the medical narrative, especially, it can be a dark rabbit hole of hopelessness. So raw foods bring a glimmer of hope to our future and our healing. And I love talking about it. So hopefully this interview, this talk of ours today helps someone.
Yeah, I have no doubt that it will. Many people are going to be impacted by this, I believe. And, it's easy to see, your passion for this lifestyle and for raw foods and for healing and health. So I think people are really going to enjoy this. So to start off, could we just kind of get, a little bit of a background of, how you grew up, what your lifestyle was like, and then how did you get into the hero's journey of, self-development, and then how did that lead you to raw foods?
Yeah, great question. Great topic to discuss. I went vegan for the animals, ethical vegan at 17 years old. This was pre-internet. I read the book called Diet for a New America by John Robbins. Great author, still writes great books today. I read that book, changed my life. I was 17. I went vegan instantly, ethical vegan. So that was the first awakening experience I had. Prior to that, I was always a sensitive kid. I had a high intuition as a kid. I wasn't raised particularly healthy. My mom was a little bit health conscious, but my dad was not at all. And I did have a strong intuition as a kid. I always felt a little bit like I was a somewhat different, more sensitive. I had out-of-body experiences as a kid. I had imaginary friends as a kid. But really at 17, bam, that first big spiritual awakening happened, which was that I was responsible for the state of the world. My contribution made a difference for the better or for the worse, and that I had to make choices that were impacting the world at large. And it was stressful as a 17-year-old to realize the impact we all have. And still to this day, as an influencer on social media, everybody, hundreds of thousands of comments come in saying, what does it matter anyway? We're all going to die. Who cares? I can't make a difference. Why go vegan? Because my choices don't matter. The animals are still going to die. The world is still messed up. This apathy is incorrect. And so my spiritual awakening first started by realizing that I personally make a massive difference. And when I make a good choice, an ethical choice, a conscious choice, an environmental choice, a personal choice for my own personal well-being, intimacy with my self-love and self-care, that it makes a difference to the entire collective consciousness of humanity. And the best part is that it's enough. That's enough. That's all we're supposed to do. No, we can't solve all of the world's problems. I can't make the whole world go vegan today, but I know that if I'm vegan, I'm making the biggest impact I can, and that's enough. And so I feel immense spiritual gratitude for that, and immense responsibility in my choices to impact the future of humanity and all sentient consciousness on this planet for the better. And then a whole lifetime of whole foods, because I'm about to turn 50. I first went ethical vegan as a 17-year-old. So I've been on this journey now for like 32, 33 years. And so I've detoxed my body, whole food. I've been whole food focused. I used to juice as a teenager. I used to make green juice when I was 17, 20, 24. Most 20-year-olds are partying and drinking. I was making juice. and eating whole food. So a whole lifetime of detoxifying foods and lifestyle has led me to raw food, essentially, because whole plant-based foods just, get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as you go, as you get to deeper levels of detoxification, which led me to raw. And I'm raw for health. I'm raw to be a sustainable vegan long-term, so I can really maintain the lifestyle, be an exemplary person to share the message so that I really am healthy, that I'm not underweight. I'm not going through detox. I'm not, I don't have dark circles under my eyes. My hair is not falling out like people who turn to veganism for health reasons. Like they have a health problem. They turn to being vegan and then they don't look good. And then they go back and they're not a good example. So my whole focus is to be an ideal example of sustainable long-term veganism as a lifestyle for our own personal well-being and the well-being of the entire planet. And raw food is how we do that. Raw, undenatured foods, fruits, vegetables, and raw nuts and seeds can provide us with the highest level of health and provide the most disconnected diet, the most connected lifestyle possible. So,
yeah, it's pretty amazing the level of empowerment raw foods gives us, spiritually, mentally, physically, and just shifting that paradigm from the standard medical allopathic viewpoint to more of a holistic, creative, you're the master of your ship type of a lifestyle and a perspective on life. So could you explain a little bit? I know you talk a lot about the hero's journey, and could you just explain to people that aren't familiar with that concept of what that means?
The hero's journey is mythology, and it was really kind of developed by Joseph Campbell, who talked about it. It developed this in the 1960s. So Joseph Campbell's philosophy on the hero's journey is that we all go through a personal death and rebirth transformation in our life on the pursuit of higher levels of truth, and that a part of us must die in order for the new part of us to be reborn. And the new part of us that's reborn sets a new standard, a new level of normal in our new awakened self. There's also a mentor in the process of the hero's journey. There's a mentor that appears that helps usher us across the threshold of resistance and fear to our calling. The hero is called on a journey, but the hero is not qualified. The hero is reluctant. The hero is fearful. If you think about all the great hero's journey stories like The Lord of the Rings, Bilbo, who had the ring, he was reluctant. He didn't want to go on the mission or on the journey. He was like, I don't like adventures that make me late for dinner. And so when we're called on our own personal hero's journey, called on the adventure, we don't feel qualified, we feel reluctant, and we feel fearful. This is where the mentor steps in. We meet a mentor. A mentor appears that helps usher us across that threshold and say, no, you can do it. We're going. Let's start our journey. And so first of all, that's how I see myself in my work, is that I mentor people. I just help them usher across the resistance to find their own empowerment in their own rebirth process. And so as a raw vegan, we have to allow the old identity of ourselves go, and a part of us dies. I talk about this a lot in my YouTube videos and in my philosophy, that to truly embrace the raw vegan lifestyle, we have to give up comfort foods, emotional addiction, emotional identity that we've built our entire life around, and giving up these parts of ourselves feels like a part of us is dying. But in the ashes of the parts that die, the phoenix rises. The parts of us that are reborn are more truthful, more simplified, more in alignment with natural law. And so that makes us more powerful, more insightful, more intuitive, and more capable of making a big difference in the world. Raw food gives us that process. Raw food is the hero's journey. So I love overlaying the hero's journey with the raw vegan journey, because it's one in the same, and it gives us a groundwork, kind of a roadmap of what we will experience when we go raw vegan. So my group coaching program is called Raw Vegan Heroes, And I have my Success Path video course, which is my core curriculum that I give to my members who sign up for my course. And it's a 37-part video series on exactly how the raw vegan journey is the hero's journey. And it's called How to Go from a Non-Vegan to a Raw Vegan Hero. Becoming the hero in our own lives, and ultimately becoming a hero for others and becoming the mentor for others. And so to reach the final step of the raw vegan hero themselves includes mentorship, includes being someone who pays it forward, someone who has come back to themselves. The rebirth process, we created a new normal in an up-leveled, higher consciousness state, and now mentors others because they have learned. And that's the progression. That's how we wake up all of humanity. This is how we evolve our species and take our entire civilization up a notch, is by doing our own hero's work, our own hero's journey, facing our own fears, triumphing over our own fears, and then helping mentor others through their fears. And that's what I do. That's the basis of my work. That's the basis of my Raw Vegan Heroes community that I provide. I have 738 members in Raw Vegan Heroes as of today, the making of this video. And I'm very proud of that, because this is a movement so much bigger than me. The people see themselves as the hero. And all these hundreds and hundreds of people are dedicated to their own hero's journey and their own hero's awakening path, using raw foods, learning about raw foods. And it's just about feeling better. There's no perfection in the journey of becoming the best version of ourselves, becoming our own hero. There's no perfection. We're not looking for being 100% anything or perfect in any way. This is about learning, about self-development, about growth, about trial and error, not being afraid to fail, not, being complacent with being small, playing small, being in our fear, being in self-doubt, having low self-worth, but really saying enough is enough. I'm going to adventure beyond the mundane. I'm going to take the calling. I'm going to listen. Here's the mentor. Shane Sterling could be a mentor. Any other hundreds of thousands of people could be our mentors. But find the mentor that speaks to you and take your hero's journey. Take the calling. That's all we've got to do. We don't have to know what the next step is. Just say yes to the calling. And if you've been called to raw food like Matt and I have, then just say yes. And the next steps of the path will unfold before you.
Wow, 100%, man. That right there, we're only a few minutes in, and I think you've already provided quite a bit of value for anybody that's watching. So yeah, that's really inspirational stuff. Now, it's awesome that you're out there, being that mentor for other people that are starting their journey. I know you started on a juice fast. Is that right? Do you kind of recommend that for most people when they start, getting into this lifestyle? Do you recommend most people start on a juice fast, or what is the benefits of doing that?
Absolutely, 100%. We have to prepare the gut for the transition of a healthier diet and lifestyle. So if we are eating a standard American diet, and we've been doing so for decades, we're going to have impacted waste buildup in the GI tract. We're going to have biofilms that accumulate from mucus-forming foods and acidic metabolic residue foods like meat, milk, dairy, eggs, grains, oils. All of these things inhibit the digestive process, create sluggish bowel transit time, ultimately leading to chronic constipation. And we can't just start eating raw food if we have constipation, if we have chronic constipation. Most people do have chronic constipation and don't know it. If you have one bowel movement a day, you're probably constipated. And when people have health problems, they turn to healthier foods or raw foods, not realizing they need to do a juice fast first, and encounter the problems that will arise from just eating raw food, which is fermentation in the gut. You get breakouts on the skin. It aggravates the already imbalanced microbiome. You might have candida overgrowth or gas and bloating. So this is all mitigated, all avoided by cleaning out the food tube completely one time. This is what I teach and what I promote, to do a proper juice fast one time all the way, an extended juice fast following the right protocol and guidance which is very important, to eliminate all the waste out of the bowels. If you do that properly, only one time, then you can stay on a high raw diet or a raw vegan diet consistently and rebuild the gut microbiome. So I've developed what I call my bowel detoxification guide, part 1 and 2, which is what I've now developed over years of working with people, mentoring people, and helping people through juice fasts and transition to raw food. My bowel detoxification guide is how to do a juice fast, why you need to do one, how to use enzymes to help break down the waste, how to use psyllium husk, bentonite clay, zeolite clay, activated charcoal to absorb the toxins as you detox, how to eliminate the bowels, empty the bowels as efficiently and as quickly as possible. My protocol is very, very effective. So if someone wanted to go raw vegan, I would highly recommend getting access to that. Again, this is in my Raw Vegan Heroes group coaching program. And then the part 2, though, is the most important, which is how to break a fast and how to rebuild the gut microbiome, which takes quite a while. Most people who are coming to raw food or juice fasting have a health problem, and they're looking for a quick fix. Say they have arthritis, or they have acne, or they have some sort of eczema or dermatitis, or they have been diagnosed with a fibroid or something like this. They're going to turn to juice fasting to detox, thinking that a 28-day juice fast is going to solve their health problem. But a fibroid took 3 decades to form in the body. It's not going to disappear in 30 days. So emptying the bowels, and this is the key point, emptying the bowels starts the body's ability to eliminate effectively. The lymphatic system drains into the bowels. If there's any pressure, the lymphatic system can't detox. This is where we're going to get cancer and inflammation and autoimmune disorders. So if we've ever been diagnosed with any of that, we need the lymphatic system to work properly, which drains into the bowels, which means the bowels have to have complete open flow, no pressure, no backup. That's what doing a juice fast is for. It doesn't cure our health problems. It starts the elimination process so our body can now detoxify naturally, and that can take years. So if we have a fibroid, for instance, it might take 2, 3, 4 years for that fibroid to detox down. Or if we have any kind of autoimmune, it could take years. My personal journey, I had chronic dermatitis on my skin, one of the catalysts that led me to raw food to finally make the move to fully raw in my lifestyle. And it still took me 2 years to detox my skin completely, where I had no symptoms, no sign of dermatitis left in my body at all. 2 years. Most people think, well, if it takes 2 years, it doesn't work, does it? But it's a permanent fix. It's a permanent reversal of this health problem that will last a lifetime. It is addressing the problem at the root cause of the problem, which is acidosis, buildup of waste in the body. And then if we rebuild the gut microbiome on a raw diet and we stay raw, we will never accumulate waste again in our body, because this is our species-specific diet, the diet that's intended for our biology. And so if we stay high raw or fully raw, then we will really live into old age without illness, disease, or accumulated degenerative conditions. So that's the goal, to reverse the health problem and stay free of health problems.
Yeah.
Juice fasting is the first step, not the cure, the first step.
Very nice. Yeah, you got to open up the doors to let out the waste. Can't heal if you got waste still built up in there, right? So for the average person out there that might just stumble upon this video, would you say that a raw vegan diet is something that anybody can do, or is it just certain people that can, that this is for? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a great question. I make videos on social media. TikTok is one of my newer platforms where I get thousands, tens of thousands of comments of people saying, not everybody can go raw. This is misinformation because not everybody can go raw. That's a false statement. Our biology is designed for raw, just like every other species on planet Earth. There's not one species that's designed for denatured food, including us. And while we have adapted to it and we enjoy it and we consider it normal, it's not optimal for our biology. if we have weaknesses, we don't want to avoid the weaknesses. We want to work into the weakness and strengthen the weakness. We get weaknesses from our genetic lineage. So for one, we could be born with a weak digestive system. We can be born with an improper gut microbiome. So when we try to eat raw food, it will cause discomfort. It can cause gas, bloating, pain. And we say to ourselves, I can't eat raw food. But that's not true. What we're experiencing is a weakness that is uncomfortable. And as with any weakness, if it goes unaddressed, it will become worse. It will become more weak. And this is what leads to catastrophic disease. Poor gut microbiome health in our youth that's unaddressed and unstrengthened will become catastrophic disease in our older age. So we have to work into our weakness. We have to strengthen the gut microbiome, and we do that with raw food. So if we have to start slow, we need to start slow, just like going into the gym to get strong, to weightlift, to get fit. We go and we pick up the dumbbell that looks normal, but it's really heavy. And we're like, whoa, I can't lift that. I got to go down to the little dinky weights that look stupid, and I got to feel like a newbie and be dumb and lift the light weight to start. And then, over time, in a few months, you'll be up to that good weight, but we got to start small. We got to start where we're at. So I coach people on how to do this. We might need to start with fasting, where we give our digestive system a break from food and fiber. That will allow any problems in the bowels to heal, so that we can reintroduce soft, tender fruits and greens to rebuild that gut microbiome properly, to then adapt to a fully raw diet or a high raw diet. So there are steps to this. And just remember, if you have a health problem, it's because of your gut. That's the root of all health problems, is our gut. If the doctors don't diagnose the problem from the gut, they diagnose the symptom and call all the symptoms different things. But 99% of our problems originate in the gut. So we've got to strengthen the gut, and we do that with raw food. So ultimately, in that way, in that regard, every single human should be and can eat a raw vegan diet for optimal health. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love how you said that. So what about the people that, claim that if you're juicing, that will damage the gut microbiome because you're not getting, you're not taking in the fiber?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a whole contingent of raw vegans even who say, do not juice fast. We should be only eating food. We don't want to throw out the fiber. Juice fasting is a temporary intervention protocol for removing waste out of the GI tract, giving our digestive system a break from fiber temporarily to eliminate the waste, so that we can start opening up the pressure in the bowels, which helps the lymphatic system detox the body naturally. Juice fasting is not juicing, and juice fasting is not a diet, and it's not a lifestyle. It's not something we do ongoing. It's a temporary intervention. My protocol, called my Bowel Detoxification Guide, is a life-saving intervention protocol, which when followed closely, very closely, will give you exceptional and efficient results to empty the GI tract. We don't want to hang out in juice fast land longer than necessary. We want to get in, do the work, accomplish the juice fast, and get out as quickly as possible. We don't want to over juice fast. We don't want to linger. And if you don't have guidance and you don't have the proper protocol to follow, you could spend a lot of time and get no results. Juice fasting costs money, and it costs time, and it costs investment. If you're going to invest time and money in something, you want it to be efficient. And that's where we need to understand how to do it properly. So a lot of the fears that arise from juice fasting are people who don't understand juice fasting, don't understand why they're doing it or how to do it. They're not following a protocol. They don't have a mentor. They don't have support. They don't have accountability. And all of these things I've built into my system, how I help people, which is my Raw Vegan Heroes community, with my bowel detoxification guides as downloads that you get, so that you have the protocol to follow that makes it efficient. You have a support community around you. You've got coaching. You've got other people to talk to. And that combination will ensure you have an exceptionally efficient and effective juice fast, and then get back to raw food and enjoy the bounty and the abundance of a raw vegan lifestyle, where you can eat an amazing array of foods and you never have to worry about overeating, and you never have to worry about putting on fat, body fat, and you can just enjoy the abundance that Mother Nature provides for us. That's the real goal, is to get back to food, enjoy the food.
Yes. So what about people that say, if you go onto a raw vegan diet, you're going to get too skinny, you're not going to be able to build muscle or maintain muscle. Have you found this to be the case, and kind of how have you navigated that side of things?
Yeah, completely untrue. Food is food. We just want to eat undenatured food so it retains all of the properties that Mother Nature needs us to have, namely enzymes, hormones, oxygen, phytochemicals that are undenatured. Denatured proteins, denatured and oxidized fats from cooking, denatured enzymes do not benefit us. So if we really want to provide our body with everything it needs to build muscle and be strong and healthy, we want to eat undenatured food. So I have a good physique, I work out. Muscle mass is one of my goals. And I do that because I eat a lot of calories. I focus on a macronutrient balance that works for my fitness goals and my constitution, which is namely a little bit higher fat, a little bit higher protein. I don't do a low fat raw vegan diet. I do a moderate fat, moderate protein raw vegan diet. I focus on nuts and seeds. I focus on chia, flax, and hemp. I work out hard at the gym. I lift weights for strength. So I focus on strength training. My body adapts to that because I force my body to adapt. And the best part is that I can eat less food and get more nutrition from it because I'm raw vegan. And I'm alkaline. So I recover from my workouts better. I don't accumulate acid waste from high protein diets. Like the industry standard fitness-based diet is that we need to eat 1 gram of animal-based protein per pound of body weight. That is a disaster waiting to happen. If we eat that much animal-based protein, we are going to be sick. And it might not show up right away. If we're young, if we're in our 20s, if we're in our 30s and we're working out at the gym, we might be able to get away with that for a while, but then our hair starts to fall out and we start to have joint problems. We get injuries at the gym. We're not looking so good. Our skin starts to not look so good, things like this. If we retain a raw food, undenatured diet with a focus on a good amount of proteins, carbs, and fats in our macro balance, we can maintain a fitness level lifestyle and a good physique for many years, longevity. And if we focus on strength, we strengthen the tendons and the ligaments and the joints. We can not only retain our muscle mass and build muscle mass as a raw vegan, but we can really have healthy joints and tissues well into old age because we're not suffering from acidosis and acid accumulation. So really, health should be the goal, not just looking like a fitness model. Of course, we all want to look good, but if we focus on the right fitness strategy with raw foods, we're going to naturally achieve a fitness level physique because we're doing the work, which is following a proper macro balance, staying raw and undenatured, and working out consistently at the gym. And that is how I get my physique. I'm 6'2" and about 195 pounds, pretty lean. My stomach is completely flat. I don't exactly like to be too lean and show abs because it's not very comfortable to show abs. I prefer to just be happy and healthy, but I'm probably 15% body fat and pretty muscular. And I'm strong in the gym. Most people wouldn't even know that I was raw vegan because I can outlift probably 80% of the guys in the gym because I've been doing it for a lot of years. And there's guys half my age that are lifting half as much weight and eating tons of animal products and protein powders. And here I am, raw food, eating salads and nuts and seeds and outlifting them by far. That's pretty incredible. That actually inspires me because what that means is I've learned the truth. And the truth is different than the mainstream narrative that is shoved down our throats. Mm-hmm. And the truth is the truth. The truth speaks for itself. The results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. That, I always say, go, follow people that have the results that you want. And, if somebody has those results, you got to find out what they're doing. And so I appreciate you sharing that with us. So would you say that physical activity, exercising, lifting weights, is this an essential part of a healthy lifestyle when you get into a raw food lifestyle, or does the food, because I know a lot of people just focus on food. They don't incorporate, very much exercise. What are your thoughts on exercise? What level of importance does that play?
Yeah, great question. Also, the component of your previous question that I didn't actually answer, which was, does your body maintain mass or will it lose mass on a raw vegan diet? The myth is that you will just waste away if you eat raw food, that you'll continually lose body mass. This myth comes from the fact that when we detox, when we go through the transition to raw food, our body needs to shed weight. Body fat holds toxins. Tissues hold toxins. Our body has to shed a lot of mass and weight in the initial stage. I personally got very skinny and underweight in my first year or two of transitioning to a raw vegan diet. I'm 6'2". I got down to 150 pounds. I'm 195 pounds now. And that is because I had to detox. I went through a 40-day juice fast. I emptied about 25 pounds of waste matter out of my GI tract, which is huge, but I also got really skinny. So by the end of that, after like 2 years of transitioning, eating high fruit-based, low-fat raw vegan to heal my dermatitis, to transform my gut microbiome, I was 150 pounds. Yes, I lost body mass, but I noticed a very key thing, gosh, I hope people can hear me on this, is that my body naturally started to rebuild at about the 2-year mark. That's when I actually became inspired. I was like, wait, I'm putting on body mass from my diet. Why don't I assist my body by going to the gym and lifting weights? And that's exactly what I did. And in 3 years, I've gone from 150 pounds after my detox transition to 195 pounds as of today. You can see my stomach is flat. I got huge muscle mass because I've assisted my body's natural ability to hold and maintain mass now. But I had to go through a massive transition. So if somebody just looks at the first transitional steps of a raw vegan diet and says, oh, I'm losing muscle mass, I don't feel good, they're missing the whole opportunity. And so this is because people are impatient. They want instant gratification. They don't have vision. They don't hook into a real true vision of what they want for their life. For me, I was determined to be raw vegan. I didn't care if I withered away to nothing. I didn't care if my teeth fell out, my hair fell out, and I looked like crap the rest of my life. I actually didn't care. I surrendered that in my hero's journey. That was the part of myself that I let die, was upholding some version of how I had to look, how I had to be, who I had to be, and I let it all go. I was literally willing to lose my teeth, the fears, the muscle mass, all the fears of everything we're going to lose. Well, look at me now. The last time I went to the dentist, the hygienist said that I had the cleanest mouth she'd ever seen, and that people who come in regularly, like every 3 months for cleanings, don't have mouths as clean as mine. This is because I eat raw food. And so my fear of damaging my teeth was just a fear. My teeth went through a detox process. Actually, I had horribly sensitive teeth for like an entire year, horribly sensitive. And stains appeared on my teeth in the crevices. I had smoked for years, all through my 20s. And so I think it was a lot of this tobacco residues were in my teeth. They're porous, and the acids have to come out of our body when we detox. So that we have to shed a lot. And so I always encourage people who I coach, because people hire me for private mentoring and coaching in their personal transformations. And what I always coach people with is that they have to let go of the version of who they were. Let go, let it die, surrender it on the altar of who you're becoming, and do the detox process fully and surrender that fully before you ever even consider building or growing or maintaining. They're completely different processes. Do detox and do it all the way, and then switch to a building phase where you go to the gym and try to build muscle. And never the twain shall meet. We can't detox and build muscle at the same time. So if you start eating raw food and you're like, I'm going to eat raw food and go to the gym and be healthy like Shane, that's not how I did it. I detoxed heavy all the way, fully surrendered for 2 full years before I ever even touched a weight in the gym. And I believe that we have to give ourselves over fully to whatever we want to accomplish. And this is where our vision becomes critical. we have to be enrolled in who we're becoming. We have to be enrolled in the vision of what we are taking a stand for. And if we don't have a vision, we're going to be enrolled in someone else's vision. So we might start a raw vegan diet, and then, oh, the carnivore people start enrolling us in their vision. And then we get enrolled in this vision and that vision and somebody else's thing and then somebody else's thing. And we say, oh, there's all this conflicting information. Where's the truth? The truth is that you don't have a vision for your life, and you're going to be somebody else's pansy because of it. And you're going to parrot their narrative because you don't have your own narrative. So it's incredibly important that we commit to ourselves, commit to our vision, and become determined and enrolled in who we are and who we're becoming. And this speaks to your comment, Matt, about our own authority. We have to be our own authority. No one's going to come save us. No one's going to give us the answers. No one's going to be some guru who saves us and gives us the truth that we're looking for. The truth is within. We have access to the truth from within. But if we're listening to someone else's narrative, we're going to be distracted from our own inner whisper of truth. It's a very subtle energy that we have to connect to. And ultimately, raw food helps us to connect with that vision. So I believe it's imperative that we enroll ourselves in the vision of becoming raw vegan, forget about the details in the process of what it takes to accomplish that. Forget about what it takes. Enroll in the vision and hold on to that vision with all of your guts, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's powerful stuff. I'm going to have to label this video a masterclass because, yeah, you're putting out some good information here.
Thanks, bro. Yeah.
So, so I love what you were saying about, you surrendered to the lifestyle, to this vision, and that, you put the fears aside, right? So the emotional aspect becomes such a huge part of, making this lifestyle work and releasing some of those past fears and past, thought patterns that many of us, I would say probably all of us, have obtained throughout our earlier lives. So, how do you find the physical, the emotional, the spiritual aspects of, this journey? How do they all kind of play with each other, and how have you found a way to kind of keep those all in balance?
Such a great question, because the root of our problems, I mean, most people are coming to a raw vegan diet to help with a problem, because we either make change in our life out of inspiration or desperation. And I will tell you, as a raw vegan coach, it's 99% desperation by the time someone is willing to change their diet, which is ultimately changing their emotional addiction to food. The problem arises because we are numbing out. We are hiding from the feelings we don't want to feel. We have emotional traumas. We have been fragmented, betrayed, abandoned, abused at some point in our life. And those feelings make us turn to the foods that numb us out. And then those foods, consistency, numbing ourselves out, creates the health problems. So to address the real health problem, we have to address the emotional issue that drove us to hide from our feelings, to numb ourselves out. What we have to do is stand naked in the face of our feelings and feel what we don't want to feel. We have to face the shadow. And the way we face the shadow, the way we heal the original wounding, the fragmentation of our innocence, is through intimacy with our self-love process, with our self-care. This is why a raw vegan diet is ultimate intimacy with our self-care. We're not turning to denatured food. Denatured food, especially animal products and grains and processed foods, keep us numbed out. They keep us in a state of not feeling what we don't want to feel. So the second we stop having these cooked foods, it becomes extremely uncomfortable. This is why most people claim that a vegan diet doesn't work or that a raw food diet is dangerous. It's because they're feeling the danger of that repressed emotion come up. Turning to raw foods, doing a juice fast, becoming a raw vegan there's as much an emotional detoxification component as a physical detoxification component. They're one and the same. They're intertwined because the emotional aspects happen first before the physical aspects. And so our emotional traumas manifest as our physical health problems. Now, how do we balance this? Well, our original fragmentations, our original betrayals and abandonments are on one side. I look at it like a figure 8 on its side. The abandonment and betrayals and fragmentation of our innocence is on one side, and healing is on the other side. And how we go from our wounds to our healing at that crossover point of the figure 8 is, like I said, intimacy with our self-care. What is that? That's our diet. That's our lifestyle. That's not using food to numb out. That is making salads and smoothies and juices for ourselves. That is not getting the high from the food, the emotional numbing, the sedative quality. I'm sorry to all the people who tout the benefits of animal products in the diet. It is a sedative. It is a sedative to our consciousness. It is a sedative to our physical, emotional, spiritual being. And so if we just stay with the juices, the raw foods, the salads, the fruits, it opens us up. And yes, it's uncomfortable for a period of time to feel that, but it moves, and that intimacy level with what we don't want to feel moves us into the healing. And we heal, and we have more capacity to handle the other parts of our shadow. So that's why it goes back to the other side of the figure 8, that we get to deeper levels of our healing, deeper levels of our trauma, and then deeper levels of our healing, deeper levels of our trauma. This is the awakening process, because spiritual awakening is not just about some woo-woo feel-good stuff. It's actually shedding light on the deepest parts of our wounds and the deepest parts of our trauma. And the more intimate we get with the deepest parts of our betrayal and heartbreak, the more awakened we will become. That's what spiritual awakening is. It's shadow. It's facing our shadow, facing the despair, the darkness, the betrayal, and the trauma that we all have. We're all born innocent, and we become betrayed and fragmented throughout our life. It's the human experience. There's nothing wrong with it. It just means that we have to be intentional and intimate with our healing. And we really don't want to murder other conscious beings and sentient beings on our journey for our own healing. Is that really possible? Can we really murder others in our own intimacy? Can we be really intimate with our own self-love while murdering others? No, I don't think so. The real awakening process is becoming higher vibrational, instinctually benevolent and kind and compassionate on a very deep level. And the good thing is that there's no nutrient that originates in animal products. It all originates in the soil, plants, sunlight, minerals, bacteria. Every nutrient the body needs, all the amino acids, is either made by the body, produced in plants, soil, or bacteria, or sunlight. So we don't need the secondary nutrition of animal products. Anyway, it's better to get really intimate with that deep compassion and kindness. That will help propel us to the best version of ourselves in levels we can't even understand. This is for the future of humanity. This is for the future of our own up-leveling as a species. And it does include kindness. Yes, it does, because we're evolving into a more kind, compassionate, and deeply sensitive species. And I know this because I get these downloads from like the future, like future timelines. That's how I see it sometimes. Like I'm just feeling the future. That's all. And I'm just acting in accordance. I'm just aligning with the future, the best version. And I'm just aligning. That's it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. So yeah, the intimacy, I think, yeah, you're spot on with, that's what people have really been conditioned out of. We grow up, we're conditioned, especially as men, to, suppress any sort of intimacy towards, ourselves and our own needs. And we're, made to think that, we have to be tough and, not that we don't want to be masculine, but they kind of try and really homogenize the population to think the same way, to act the same way, to really just get in line and follow orders. So How, did you experience any sort of social pushback or pressures from friends or family? And how would you suggest others that might be going through that? How do you kind of become, put some intimacy towards your needs and, kind of block out some of the chatter from other people?
Yeah, well, we have to save ourselves before we can save anyone else. If we truly love someone and we truly care about them, we have to do the best for ourselves. You know the analogy when you're on an airplane and they say, if the oxygen mask drops down in case of emergency, make sure you put it on yourself first before you put it on your child. That's an ultimate example of how we are the ones who are going to save ourselves. We have to prioritize our own self-love and self-care first and foremost. If we have people in our lives, friends, family, people close to us who are doubtful, naysayers, unsupportive, they don't know what your journey is or who you're becoming. We owe it to ourselves to become the best version of ourselves. We don't want to hold back because of them. There's a great analogy called the crab bucket. And I'm going to tell you this because it's kind of life-changing to hear this. The crab bucket analogy is there's a fisherman on the pier and a guy is walking by the fisherman and he's got a bucket of crabs there. And the guy says to the fisherman, you got to put a lid on the bucket of crabs because they're going to climb out. And the fisherman turns to the guy and says, no, I don't have to put a lid on the bucket of crabs because if one crab tries to climb out of that bucket, all the other crabs reach up and pull him back down in. And another way of saying that is misery loves company. We want to kind of be around other like-minded people. We want to fit in. We want to feel our tribe. We want to feel like a part of a community. It's very difficult psychologically to step out of that. But who are you committed to being is my question. Do you have a calling in your heart to be great, to be better, to do better, and to evolve our species? Are you called on a mission? If so, you owe it to yourself to step out of your comfort zone and let the parts of yourself that are uncomfortable with that shine. And you might outshine your mother or your father or your sister or your grandmother. You might outshine them. And that's okay because this is your destiny on this planet. To just play small and to fit in will be the saddest thing that ever happened to you. So you might as well not do that version. And really, it's facing our fears that is our own spiritual awakening. Like I said, spiritual awakening isn't feeling good. It's actually shedding light on our shadow. It's facing our worst fears. It's doing the difficult work. You want to have an easier life and a good, fulfilled life, do the hard work of personal development. If you want to have a really hard life, take the easy road now. Take the easy road today, and you'll find out you're going to end up with a really hard life. So doing the hard work now makes our life easy. Doing the shadow work, facing our fears now is how we fulfill our destiny. And specifically, speaking to men who aren't willing to face their fears, aren't willing to face the depths of their emotional despair and heartbreak, you especially need to face your fears. And this is why a lot of men resist veganism specifically, because when we go vegan, we have to feel our fears, the deepest existential fear of all existence, which is that we are sovereign beings. We really are spiritual beings and that we have a very high spiritual potential. And when we eat other beings and we murder them for food, we are playing really small. We're staying in the status quo. We're staying in a narrative that was passed on to us. We're not thinking for ourselves. We're not progressing the species. We're not doing the hard work. So men like to play small because men are, unfortunately, weak-minded a lot of the time. So the real work men have to do is face their fears. You want to be an example of masculinity, and true alpha masculinity is to face your fears and to make sure everyone is taken care of. That includes all sentient consciousness. Alpha masculine energy is a polarity to the feminine polarity that is present, grounded, capable, calm, collected, kind, compassionate, authentic, and shows up and make sure everyone is winning. That's the true alpha masculine, to make sure everyone is winning. If you want to be in your masculine polarity and a true divine masculine man in their alpha energy, you've got to make sure everyone is winning. And you do it silently, and you do it with true authenticity and compassion. That's leadership. And so men, to be in their leadership, have to face their fears and do this level of work. And women have their own level of work too. I'm a man in this lifetime, so I get to speak into that one. But all of us have to face our fears and step out of the narrative that's been handed to us. And so if it's comfortable to follow the family tradition, but you have a calling in your heart to be vegan or to be raw, you've got to listen to your own heart. It's your duty. And it's placed there. That seed is in your heart for a reason, because you're a visionary and you're someone who is needed on this awakening mission. So this is your hero's journey. And there's a mentor that shows up at some point to help usher you across the threshold of resistance and fear. And at some point, that mentor will show up for you, and pay attention to when that happens.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was just thinking as you were saying that, stepping out of family traditions, I thought of the guy that you mentioned earlier. It's John Robbins. His family was in the ice cream business, and Baskin Robbins, or something like that, right?
That is absolutely correct. Amazing story. John Robbins is such an inspiration.
Yeah, he definitely is.
And the number one reason why I went ethical vegan at 17 years old was that book, Diet for a New America.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Yeah. Great book. Great book. Yeah. I recommend anybody that is interested in not just veganism, but just health, holistic health overall, and realizing the truth behind, animal products and how that affects ourselves and the environment and animals and all that sort of stuff. He really packs in the information with that, and he's really inspirational. So check that out for sure. All right. So let's see if we're going to kind of wrap all of this together and give some people some practical steps that they can take to either, whatever it is, to let go of their fears, or to even just get into a healthier lifestyle, to get into get on the raw path and step into their own hero's journey. What are like 2 or 3 key steps that somebody could take today that can start them down that path?
There's really one key at the top of all steps to take, which is accountability. And I will pose the question to the listener or the viewer right now. Do you have accountability for your lifestyle that you're called to, that you want? If you want to be raw, do you have accountability for that? We need accountability. When I went raw vegan, I started my group coaching program, Raw Vegan Heroes, to be a community membership of accountability for me, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it alone. And today, to this day, my membership is high-level accountability. I do a weekly live stream into the group to help set the tone and the culture and coach and support 730 members as of today. And that is high-level accountability for myself. So if I want to fall off or go back to cooked foods, I just think about all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who are looking up to me. I'll tell you, that's a key that you cannot underestimate how powerful that is. And it's the crab bucket analogy. Who we surround ourselves with is what the results we get. We make the same amount of money within like $5,000 or $10,000 statistically of the 5 people we surround ourselves with the most. So we will not create a different result until we are surrounded by a different group of people who are thinking how we want to think. So that's why having group level accountability is the most powerful tool of transformation. I have a free video course too, which I'll just mention, Matt. That is a 6-part video course, absolutely free, called How to Go Raw Vegan Start Here Guide. It's the first 6 steps you take to exactly how to go raw vegan. And that is absolutely free. You just sign up with your name and email. You can unsubscribe at any time. I will not spam you. It's literally my service to people to help them understand what the next step is. And the first thing I say in my video course is that accountability is key. So I highly recommend you sign up for that and experience it's packed full of information and inspiration and exactly what you need to do next to be a raw vegan and experience the benefits for yourself. So beyond accountability, though, and signing up for my video course, I really honestly think that we can't even look at step 2 until we have accomplished step 1. Get accountability, because we will not be able to change. When I needed to be successful financially in my life, I sought out a mentor. I sought out accountability. I've joined programs, master classes, masterminds, hired coaches. This is what I do to be the person that I am. I seek out accountability. I seek out different crab buckets. I want to surround myself with people who are millionaires making millions of dollars. That's where the level I'm at in my finances. I need to be around people who are very successful financially, because I'm tired of being broke. And so that's one of the things I do. And I've already been raw vegan. I'm surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of raw vegans every day. So for me, I get to move on, graduate to other areas of my life, but accountability is how we do it. It's really number one. It cannot be underestimated. It's absolutely key.
Yeah. Wow. Perfect answer. I love that. So if somebody does want to, find out more about you, your services, the group that you have, where would they do that?
My website is rawveganrising.com. And there's a tab at the top called membership, which is my Raw Vegan Heroes membership. You can learn about it there. Also, I am Raw Vegan Rising on all social media platforms. My top platform is YouTube. I make YouTube videos every week to inspire and educate people. Completely free content, of course. You can get all my links in my YouTube videos. Also on Instagram as Raw Vegan Rising, and TikTok as Raw Vegan Rising. And my TikTok account is going bonkers. I just did a video like last week that's like at 1.6 million views, and the comments are insane. You want to see where people are at in the population at large? Go read the comments on that video and see the confusion and miseducation and misunderstanding. It's sad and inspiring at the same time to see how much work we really have to do and how much benefit we can really gain from proper diet and lifestyle awareness. And so my TikTok is quite entertaining. But my service is my primary goal. I don't care if I have haters, because I'm going to speak my truth regardless, because the truth speaks for itself, and people will see the truth, can feel the truth. It doesn't matter if someone has resistance or hates on it. The truth is the truth, and I'm a truth seeker, and my whole mission is to share truth, spread truth, and be and live in alignment with truth. So rawveganrising.com, Raw Vegan Rising on all social media.
Terrific. Wow. All right. Well, Shane, thank you so much for coming on the channel and sharing this really valuable information with people. For sure, people are going to love this one and get a lot from it. So everybody out there, definitely suggest going over to Shane's YouTube channel and all his other platforms, on social media and his website. Check him out, and you're definitely going to get inspired. And, you can join the group and see what that's like. And, get the more people we can get into this healthy lifestyle, the better off we're going to be on a global level. And we'll start to raise the consciousness. We'll start to, really start to see some of those changes that I think a lot of us are hoping to see, turn things around a little bit in our society. So again, Shane, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your truth. And I hope to have you back on at another point.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks a lot for being the host and being a truth seeker yourself, and sharing this valuable information with your audience and doing the work to build an audience and share it, because I can see in you those qualities that I admire. So thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, again, and we will catch you in the next video. Always remember to follow your raw intuition.